do some stupid ass intro. But he's gonna be on, so the camera's gonna be on with him there. You're good. Go ahead. What's up? Steve Del Savio here with the Ask the Pack Leader Show. We are here with Jamie and Adam.
Hi, guys.
And we have a special guest today, my buddy John Flores from I Pity the Bull, who's here. We wanted to do a good episode today. I'm so used to going this way. I'm ready to talk. But we wanted to do an episode today on Rescue World, and John's doing a lot of awesome stuff out in California in the rescue world. So, John Flores, I Pity the Bull. So what's up, bro? How's everything going?
Oh, man. Everything's good, you know? I mean, it's 2020.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
not much longer.
made it through the year.
I know, not much longer of 2020 left.
Not much longer.
So I met John. When did we meet? We met at one of the Caesar workshops. That was years ago, right?
It was 6 or 7 years ago.
Holy
because I
shit.
brought Fletcher.
Yes.
He's 10 now.
But did you take it as a student the first time with Fletcher?
Yeah, someone sent me.
That's right.
Fostering. Someone was like, here, I'm gifting you to go to Caesar's Way. And I said, I don't need to go. What do I need to go for?
That's right.
And they're like, we're paying for you. I said, I know, but I don't know if I want to be gone for 5 days.
Right.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, you're so stupid. Just go.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go?
That's right. How'd you like it? Did you like it?
Best decisions ever, though.
Yeah. So what was the biggest thing you got out of it when you went there? What were you expecting? And then what was it when you got there that was different than what you expected?
I learned that I knew absolutely nothing.
I know, dude. That's what I so when I went the first time with Maddie, I felt the same exact way. I was like, I don't know, do I really need to go to this thing? I think I know a good amount of my dogs. I know what I'm doing here and shit. And then I went to the thing, and I was just like, oh, fuck. I don't know a goddamn thing about dogs, basically. You know? Or energy, or myself, or even myself, you know?
Your ego was brought down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, big time. But in a good way, though, because it's a very humbling experience, and realize, because dogs can humble us, too, very quickly when we get all I know everything about dogs, and all of a sudden, bam, you're bit, and you're like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. It brings you right back down, you know?
Well, I brought Fletcher in hopes of getting him adopted because he was my foster.
That's right. That's right.
And then I kept him.
Another foster fail, right? Yeah.
You know?
So then after TCW, what did you start doing? So the rescue you were doing prior to TCW, right?
Yeah.
And then after TCW, what happened after that? What changed?
Wow. I just came home and I just saw everything in I call it the Matrix, right? I just saw everything in slow motion.
Yeah.
Bullets are flying at me and I'm just dodging and I'm seeing things I'd never seen before. And it changed the entire way I looked at dogs from that point on.
Yep.
So the love was still there. You know, the desire to help was still there, but my mind was like, you need to slow down.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to, and I remember this because if I look at my post, I'm like, I fostered 50-something, this amount of time. I'm so cool.
Right. About ego and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily, none of the dogs got returned. And luckily, it all worked out, but I didn't realize that I was just trying to move dogs.
Uh-huh. That's a big one. And I think that's a huge thing that happens in the rescue world right now still. I see it a lot with the rescues that I see out there. I know you guys aren't that, but there are many rescues that are just let's just grab this dog from this position and put him in a home. This one in a home. But they're forgetting the most important part, which is the rehabilitate part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And compatibility too, right? You would say?
Well, yeah, it's like dating. I mean, I was telling someone the other day the average human being spends 6 hours buying a car.
Holy shit. And how perfect is that right now for us, too? Yeah. I spent probably 60 hours trying to buy a fucking car.
Multiply that by 10 for Steve.
And think about, I need power windows, I need good gas mileage, I need this to fit into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
But then, and that thing's not even alive.
Right.
Right?
That's so true.
You're changing your mind.
All day, they don't care.
That's right.
But you see a cute dog on Instagram, and you just have to get that dog, and you blindly go and get that dog. And they blindly give it to you.
Yes.
And then, what happens when that dog bites you? it's just such a, I just think we need to be more careful about who we choose to be in a relationship with, because even if you adopt one dog, I hate to say it, like 50,000 more are still getting euthanized. So why don't you just take your time and find the right one?
I agree with you 100%. I think that's the biggest issue. It's to me one of the most untalked about things in the dog behavior world, or whatever you want to call it. Everyone's like, all right, this is what I see so much. It's like, I'm already in this fucked up relationship now, so how do I like make it work? And I'm like, normally if like you're dating somebody, you're like, maybe we're not working out, we should go a different way, you know what I mean? But then now you're in this relationship, it's like, maybe you shouldn't have selected that partner from the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Like, think about people, I mean, but that's also happening with people too, but people go on they date for a while, then they do these things, see if we're compatible. I don't like that about him or her, and I don't know if it's going to work out. But with a dog, like you're saying, it's just like, emotions, adopt. And then it's like,
right,
what do I do now?
Now what?
Yeah. It's a huge part of it that I think is a big issue. So then what happens to the people then when let's just say you have one that goes out and they realize they're completely incompatible, but are you doing a lot of work on the front end with compatibility now?
We do. So my wife is our adoption coordinator.
Okay.
So first she has to like your application. And then she'll email you, and it's a minimum 4 meet and greets.
That's awesome.
Minimum. And if you have other dogs, you're not even bringing your dog to the meet and greet.
No.
You're bringing the humans.
Yep.
We got to see if there's a connection. If there's no connection, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you watching like how the humans interact with the dogs, like obviously, and seeing what?
I don't even watch the dog.
Yeah, that's right.
I watch the human, how they react to what the dog's doing.
Yeah.
Right? And if I notice that they're panicking or they're like getting all twitchy, I'm like, this probably isn't the right dog for them.
That's right.
Because that first date should be pretty smooth.
Right. It says something too that's like
I don't care like how long we have our dogs for. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's about finding the right place, because who cares if they go to somewhere that is not going to be. It's like still being like unadopted at that point, in my opinion. It's funny, like. Yeah. I get these people who sometimes say, like, I'm like, well, you're not walking your dog. You're not doing these things for your dog. And they're like, yeah, but I rescued it. Would have been in a shelter. So I came up with this thing recently. I said, what was I calling it? Like, I was saying, like, what if you actually didn't rescue that dog? If you actually, like, trapped that dog and prevented that dog from actually being adopted by someone like you or me or us who would have actually fulfilled that dog's needs, made a life for them and all that. So it's something that people need to think about, too, for sure.
It's a different way to look at it.
Yeah, because I'm like, people love the story and the emotion of I rescued this thing, and it's like you didn't really do much if you just took him out of a place and stuck him on a fucking couch or in a kennel all day.
No, you just kept the dog alive.
That's right.
Really, you're not letting the dog live. You're just keeping him.
That's a great point.
And there's a difference.
That's a great point. It's like whether or not you're keeping a dog alive, rescuing it to keep it alive, or you're actually letting a dog live its life.
Yeah, and it's it's just I think people mean well, and I think people just want to make a difference. They want to change the world, and they want to show like, hey, I took a chance on this dog. And you see the videos all the time, right? Like the dog wanted to bite my face off, and then 6 months later, like the dog likes me, but only likes you.
I know. I gotta trust one person,
Yeah, and it's just I just think I think just more accountability, and it's just we live in a world of just instant gratification.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look, I'm like Amazon Prime when I'm ordering stuff, and I'm like, why can't it get here tomorrow?
I say that stuff all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna find a different product.
Yeah.
A lesser quality product that will get here tomorrow.
Right away. I know. It's so true, because I think the intention of people really is, you're right. Their intention is good. I want to help. I want to make a difference. I want to save an animal. But I think the strategy is just not the best right now, which is like, I want to do this, and then they bring him in, and they give him freedom in the whole house. They let him, look, this is your couch, and this is your this. But in reality, the dog's like, so what the hell's the deal in this new place? Who's in charge of the food? Who's in charge of the furniture? And these... No one? Okay, I guess it's me. But that's to me just yet again.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, but don't do that. Oh, and don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't do that either.
Yeah, that's right. So they're to a degree like bringing a dog home and thinking they're giving them all this stuff, but in reality they're almost abandoning them, because they're abandoning them as giving them leadership, which is what we always talk about is one of the most important things with a dog. So what do you see like?
Steve, I have a 4-year-old son.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old son. His toys are only effective when someone's interacting with him.
Right? It makes so much sense.
Right? It's like the big yard.
Yes.
Like, okay, so you have 2 acres. What's your dog supposed to do with it?
Yeah. It becomes a prison yard pretty fast if you're doing nothing. I tell that story all the time. I won't mention who the celebrity was. But I went to a celebrity's house in the Hamptons. It was like 3 acres. And she's going, but look at the 3 acres. These are beautiful 3 acres in the Hamptons. I go, your dog right now is chasing the shadow of a dragonfly up above right now. That's how bored these dogs are with this fucking prison yard 3 acres that you have here, you know? There's no interaction. Right. Just put them in the yard and you'll do something. I'm like, let me put you in the yard and see how you like it.
Well, until they destroy something and they're like, oh, now you'll pay attention to it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's right. I know. And then call up somebody like us and say, hey, there's something wrong with that dog. You know? Yeah. Not wrong with my relationship with the dog.
And I don't understand. I taught him to say it.
Yeah, I know. You know some obedience.
I don't get it.
I know. But I love what you're talking about, though, about the relationship. And we've been talking a lot about that, too, is being in a relationship and understanding that literally you're in a relationship with a dog. And it's relationship, you can call it training or whatever you want to call it. But you're in a relationship with just like you're in a relationship with your son, you're in a relationship with your wife. There's different types of relationships. And in my opinion, I think you will agree, the relationship with a dog is human, leading, dog following, calm follower state, who knows clear rules, boundaries, limitations. Affection's given at the right times, and we fulfill their needs. If you fulfill a dog's instinctual needs, you can do the emotional need. I think people think like people like us like don't pet our dogs and like don't actually like do fun things. You know what I mean? Because they're always like, oh yeah, these dogs are always focused on the behavior and making them do all this stuff. It's like we're not making them. We're actually providing structure and a clear life for them. And then when the timing's right, we give our dogs. I give mine, and I know you do. We give our dogs a shitload of affection. But because of all the work we put in, that it makes it available for them, you know?
But affection comes in different forms.
That's right.
I think people forget that. And structure is like I told someone the other day, like, if you were to go to a bank and there were no ribbons and no lines, like, and there was no structure to it, you didn't know who was next, you didn't know, like, there was nowhere to go, you would never go to that bank again.
Right.
And you would be the first person to write a bad review on that bank.
Right. That's a good one.
All your favorite places, your favorite restaurants, your favorite stores, you probably like it because of the structure and how people are treating you.
That's right. That's a really good one.
But, so why shouldn't we provide structure to our dogs when we're already forcing them into a human world that is so unnatural for them?
Right.
And they're just supposed to get it.
Yeah. They're just supposed to know what to do. I'm like, I always say that. I'm like, yo, do you know that the dog figured out a way how to get from out in that nature shit into our homes already? That wasn't enough. Now they have to figure out the English language, how they should function inside with no direction whatsoever, you know? It's nuts.
Like, I miscommunicate with my wife like 18 times a day.
Exactly.
We speak the same language.
It's so true.
And,
yeah.
Like, I swear, if my dogs could talk, they'd be like, man, this guy feeds me. And he thinks he knows what's up.
Right,
you know?
right.
I'll give him a chance.
It's so true because we're like in this communication thing with the same species, a specific language within that species, and we don't even understand each other totally. We're saying different things. I'm saying one thing, but you're hearing it a different way, you know? Yeah. But then we're talking to a dog.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I was mad at the guy who cut me off earlier.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, here's my crystal ball. Now I know, you know? Or with my fiance, it's like she wants me to put the glass of water here, and then I finally do, and it's like, oh, now you did it. You know? I'm like, yo.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, this is now the time, Cassie, to give me good positive reinforcement and say, good job, Steve. Very good job doing it. Thank you. You're welcome, you know? So, all right. So now, are you getting people, like, when you said you had 50 dogs or whatever it was, and nobody came back. So since then, have you had dogs that have come back? That's pretty amazing.
We've had 0 since we officially became a rescue. So I fostered for different rescues for like 6 years. And then we decided to become our own rescue. And through the things that I have learned, we have slowed the adoption process down so slow that like you have to want this dog,
right?
Not a dog, this dog. And because of that, we've had 0 returns.
It's amazing. So what are you having them do in these 4 meet and greets? So are you coming and just assessing them, and are you educating them obviously throughout this too?
Oh yeah, like it's basically a session.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a free session in dog psychology, pretty much. And if they want to move on to the second date, then we move on to the second date. And so if they have dogs, then they bring the dogs.
Yeah.
And we just kind of walk together. There's no playing. Everyone wants the dogs to play. And it's like, I just watch the humans. I don't even pay attention. I just watch the humans and how they're reacting.
Yeah.
And if the humans want to move on to the third date, even if the dogs look like they want to kill each other, if the humans want to move forward, let's do it.
Yeah, because we can overcome it.
Right? So, and then we go, the next one will be at their house. Right? And I have them show us what the routine's going to look like, and then we leave. And then the next one, the dog comes over, the dog stays in a crate all day.
Yeah.
Except for potty breaks. So the dog can watch what's going on. See, that's already 4. We're going to need a 5th.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the last dog, we had Cody. That dog took 2 months to get adopted.
Wow.
5 weeks, sorry. We had him for a total of 4 months. 5 weeks was the actual adoption process. That way, by the time the dog left, the dog stayed there, and we never came back for the dog. The dog didn't care.
It's amazing. And the dogs are staying with you, or do you have fosters who are keeping these dogs?
We have fosters. They're all dog trainers.
That's a good one to have. That's a good way to have it.
We have like 5 fosters.
Yeah. That's really good. And let me ask you, do you have the people, when they're coming in, are you telling them, I want you to behave this way? Like, for instance, when you're doing the training thing, I'm always telling, like, when I have board and train, the people that are coming for the first time, we're going to practice no touch, no talk, no eye contact, let the dog use his nose and all that. Are you having them do that, or like, and educating them prior to, or are you more, let's see what these people are like, and let's see what they know already kind of thing?
Yep, depending on the dog. So if the dog might be a bite risk, got a muzzle on the dog. I just want to see what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I can tell you to do all this stuff, and you're just going to do it to appease me.
Right. Right.
Right? So I kind of got to see what you're going to do, but I'll set it up to where no one really gets hurt except for your feelings.
Exactly. And by the way, those are good feelings to hurt, in my opinion, too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we were talking about this recently about like not standing up for what you believe in or what is right, and saying something that could be perceived in society today as you're being mean and hurting somebody, but in reality you're like giving them a little bit of a wake up call and truth that actually can help them. You know, it's like it's not the easiest thing to do in 2020.
My lawyer told me earlier this year, if it only hurts your feelings, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
That is good.
That was really good. Okay. So, and what are you seeing the most common from these people who are coming to pick up these dogs that they don't know about dogs or don't know about dog psychology, like when they first meet a dog? I'm going to take a wild guess of what it would be, but I want to hear what you...
I think they're just trying to fill a void.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you big time.
There's something missing, and this dog is going to help me become a better whatever.
Right.
And we're going to live this great life, and I'm going to rescue this dog, and this dog's going to be so grateful to me that the dog's just going to do whatever I ask him to do, even though I don't really know what that is.
Right. There's no direction of what it's actually going to be. What is that going to look like? I don't know. We'll figure it out. You're bringing a live animal into your home, just so you know. You know?
Yeah.
I did something recently. I talked about how, like, I said something in that story that was about, like, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself before getting into a relationship with a spouse or anything else, but especially with a dog. Because, like, a spouse will bullshit you, a kid will manipulate. A dog's going to be 100% honest and not worry about hurting your feelings. That's why I like that you're doing that, because the dog's not coming and being like, oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings by, like, taking a bite at them or so, you know, or like just walking away because they're way too forward with me, you know. They're just like, nope, this is how I feel about you. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I love them so much too. And they take it for what it is. So do you find people get offended when you tell them this stuff about why the dog's like walking away? Or like how long do you let it go when the people come and like, let's just say the person comes and, hi puppy, like all the wrong shit, obviously. Like how long do you let that go? Obviously the dog dependent, like you're saying too. But before you step in and say, hey, so this is not the best approach for you with that dog or whatever.
Like sometimes it's not even always the dog like lunging. It's when they're cowering.
Yeah.
Right? When they're a little shy, they
avoiding.
Right? And they keep reaching over. I won't let them touch the dog.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So I'll look, if the arm extension starts to get straight, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's slow down. Yeah. Let's slow down and, well, does he know any tricks? And I'm like, well, do you?
That's a great line. That's a great
right?
line.
The dog knows that, well, can you pop on one leg and juggle?
Because
that's what you're asking this dog to do.
Yeah.
And so I'll always ask how they're feeling, right? The dog's shy. How are you feeling?
It's a great one.
Right? And so instead of instead of aggressive and friendly, I've just started using extrovert and introvert.
Yeah.
Right? So introverted people, I have a lot of friends that are introverted. You just have to take the time to get to know them.
That's right.
And they become some of the most fun people in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But I also have extroverted friends who have no regard for any rules, and they're always getting kicked out of places.
I have plenty of those. Yeah, exactly.
I used to be that person.
And they're fun to be around. Exactly. Right. It's so true.
I'm just trying to have a good time. I don't know what everyone's problem is.
Yeah.
I think when I put it introverted and extroverted, people start to understand.
Yeah.
Because most of my dog people are introverted.
I think it's a huge thing to be able. It's true. It's true. I think to be able to use the analogies like that and bring it to the human world, because humans don't really know dogs, and they don't know animals. They don't know energy for the most part. Not all, but most don't know it, right? So being able to show them like, so this dog is like an introvert as a human, and they're like, oh, that can click, and I can rationalize that and make sense. So that's how he's feeling. I see. Because we got to remember, humans, especially in America, their belief is that all dogs want to be pet at all times. You know what I mean? You know? I say to them, well, do you want to be touched at all times? And they're like, fuck no, I don't want that at all. I was like, but you're an animal also. You know, there's times where you don't want affection. You know? But there was one that I was going to ask you about that too. So you let them go through it. I forgot what my question was going to be with that. Damn. Can't remember. Oh well, whatever.
So you write them down.
I know? No, it's better. I like this way better.
No, I don't like writing shit down.
I don't like writing shit down. We don't prepare. We just go with the flow.
No, we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah. And then the dog's coming home. So it's it's 4 visits minimum, and then sometimes how long? 8 visits? What? How many do you got until you feel that's good?
As long as they want to do it.
That's good.
Right? I had a lady. She went through 6, and she's like, "This isn't for me." I said, "That's fine.
It's awesome.
That's fine." But now that I've seen your house,
I remember what it was.
What you can handle.
Yeah.
Right. And now, even if you don't adopt a dog from us, you can use me as a reference, and I can help another rescue find a dog for you.
Yeah. That's really good.
Because that's it, right? Like,
yeah.
You're just trying to help a person find a dog. Who cares if it's from our rescue?
Right.
Care,
you want to find the right dog for that person, correct?
Yeah.
The thing that I couldn't remember what it was, I just remembered, is I'm sure a huge factor with these people, is at least for me, is the open-mindedness of the adopter as well. How open-minded they are to actually learn a new way, understand something, or are they just closed-minded and set in their ways and saying, screw you, John, I don't care what you're saying about this dog psychology thing. I want my cuddle bunny to sit right here and pet him, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm sure you're like, great, there's the door where you can leave. You know?
Exactly. Here's some quarters and a crate and the directions to a crate machine.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, go get a robotic dog and just pet that thing and just let it talk to you or something. I don't know, but that's not fair to the other animal.
Hey, but even a robotic dog requires care. You're gonna have to change batteries.
That's true. Too much care. That's right. Stuffed animal, then I guess. Even a stuffed animal, you got to wash it once in a blue moon.
Yeah, you know.
I know. That's great. So, what made you get into the training part? So you obviously started in the rescue thing, but you just realized that people needed the help, right?
Yeah, I just, people don't say, "Are you a trainer?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a trainer. No, I'm not a trainer." But how do you do this with the dog? Like, I don't know. And they're like, "Well, then if you're a trainer, can you help me with my dog?"
Right.
With my dog. And I'm
Yeah.
like, crap, man. And at the time, like, you know, even when I met you, I was still going through all my concussion stuff, so I wasn't working.
Yeah.
Like, till this day, no one's gonna hire me because
Yeah, can you talk about that? Do you mind talking about what happened with all that?
Yeah, no. So like almost 10 years ago, I fell off a bike and I hit my head, and it ended up being my 6th concussion. Most people recover. 25% of people with multiple traumatic brain injuries will suffer lifelong effects. I was a lucky 25%. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks of hitting my head, I lost the ability to talk in complete sentences. It took me 5 minutes to tie my shoes. I couldn't drive for a year and a half. It was like I got reset.
Yeah.
I got reset completely. All my apps were gone. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do.
Factory reset.
Huh?
A factory reset, right? On the, like, boop, we're starting over.
Reset.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, it was weird because I was like 35 and I had to see a speech therapist, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, and a neuropsychologist.
Wow.
So the neuropsychologist, it reminded me of like Tony Soprano and his
Yeah.
not all the sexual tension.
Yeah. Exactly. With Dr. Melfi? Yeah.
Huh?
With Dr. Melfi? Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, "You want me to get a dog?" I go, "I can't even drive here." I can't even drive here. It takes me forever to tie my shoes. I go, "You want me to get a dog? You want me to pick up dog shit? And you think it's gonna fix me?" I was like, "This is horrible." And she's like, "No, I need you to stop feeling sorry for yourself."
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's like, "Maybe if you had something to take care of, it would help you to be present. Instead of focusing on this life you can no longer have ever again."
Yep.
And sure enough, I left there. That same day, my best friend showed up at my door with a picture of a 6-month-old pit bull and asked if I knew anyone that wanted a dog.
That's crazy.
And I said no.
Nope, I don't know anyone.
Yeah. And then I thought about it. I was like, holy crap, I didn't even tell her what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, this must be one of those universe things.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine, I'll take the dog. And she's all, good, we're going to pick her up today. And I was like, what? And she's all, this dog needs you, and I think you need this dog. And so I pick up this dog, and holy crap, Steve, this dog was like 30 pounds, 40 pounds, and she was dragging me across the park and growling at everyone. And for a second, I was like, maybe everything they said about pit bulls is right.
Yeah, right, I know. It's like, check, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, crap, man. But, you know, my dad, I grew up in a family where I wasn't allowed to interact with the dogs if I wasn't going to do the hard work.
Right.
So I didn't interact with the dogs. I just watched my dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't give up on this dog. So I just kept doing everything I needed to do. Whatever money I had left over, I hired a dog trainer. And, you know, the dog was great when he was there.
Yep. Very common one.
Right? And, you know, I kept working on this stuff. And one day he's like, hey, what are you scared of? And I was like, I'm not scared of anything. And he's going, well, whatever it is, you need to let it go because your dog's feeding off this energy. So you have two choices. You can either just keep this dog locked up in the house with you and avoid life, or you can be the person your dog needs you to be and go stop wondering what people are thinking about you and your dog.
Yeah.
It was like a light switch hit, and then I worked with her, even though I still didn't know too much dog psychology at that time. Like, I just focused on her, and I stopped rushing tying my shoes.
Yeah.
Right? I remember looking at her, and I remember doing the loop, and I couldn't do it, and I looked at her, and she just was waiting for me patiently.
That's great.
You know? And so one thing led to another. I still wasn't working. I started I checked out our local rescue. I started walking the dogs over there, and that led me to fostering, which led me to Training Caesar's Way, which led me to here.
It's crazy. It's such a good story. So what?
Yeah.
So do you feel? This is what I feel too, because I was through a bunch of shit too, and going through all that stuff is I feel like I can see myself in these dogs that have are just completely misunderstood, going through shit and all that. But it allows me to not so much just feel bad for them and be like, poor you kind of thing, because I think you understand in that thing, and what she was saying too is poor you ain't gonna help you. Being a victim ain't gonna really help you. You know, that's it's nice that people care but it's not really, to me, caring. Caring is you can do this shit, I can help you through this, and we're gonna go through this and get you to a better place. So it's it's so common that I see so many people who are really making a difference in this world who've been through some shit, you know, who's been through.
You have to.
I think so too, because it's a level of almost going to a certain place and suffering to understand. Because once you have that understanding, that's where all the wisdom and shit is because then it's all right, then
you have a different mindset going into it.
It really is, because for me, I'm this dog is growling and showing his teeth at me. I could get bit here, but I'm it ain't gonna be worse than me sitting on the couch contemplating suicide. You know,
right?
Who gives a shit if he bites me? I don't care. We'll deal with it.
I don't think us humans realize how much self-harm we cause on ourselves on a daily basis.
And how do you think? In what way?
Just, you're not good enough. No one likes you. You know, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too this. Man, that's self-abuse.
Yeah.
That's not good. It's not healthy. And I mean, hey, I do it too to an extent, but I snap myself out of it.
Yeah, it's thoughts that happen, but it's not thoughts of our own. It's thoughts that we're taking as truth or the gospel of other people that are saying, or other people have said about. Or our parents, or our grandparents, or whoever, and it's well, and this is when we get into the law of attraction and all that shit too, of what you're gonna put out into the world. If I'm putting out into the world that I'm no good, the world's gonna say, great, let's create a world for you where you're no fucking good. You know?
Yeah, it'll happen. I started doing career days at high schools.
Yeah.
And it's not even about dogs. I'm literally raise your hand if you have it all figured out. Right? 2 people raise their hand. I'm the rest of you raise your hand if you don't. And they're everyone raises their hand. I was man, I didn't figure out what I was going to do until I hit my head 6 times by the time I was 35 years old.
Yeah, I know. And it's so true.
You're 17, and whoever's telling you need to know now they don't mean that.
They don't know themselves, by the way, because it's so true.
Yeah.
I was working for my father's business, quit, and then was all right, let me just make some spare money on the side by walking some dogs, and I'll figure some shit out. And then it turned into this whole fucking thing, which is would have been amazing.
Oh.
But that's what had to happen. I didn't have it figured out. I didn't really have it figured out till I was probably. Even the idea of a ranch and all this shit, I didn't have. I don't have shit figured out right now. Yeah, exactly. It's so true.
Yeah.
I have more. I would say that I
would have a different answer.
Yeah, I have more things figured out now, but I definitely don't have it all figured out for sure. But that's what the dogs are teaching us, is to live in the moment and just say deal with what's in front of you and enjoy this moment right now. You don't have to have everything figured out. It'll come. When it comes, let it come. And let it then deal with it at the time. In the same way the dogs are teaching us how to deal with it, you know?
Yeah, why should a dog have to be touched by every single person for the rest of its life just to prove that they're friendly?
I know.
That is
it's nuts. It's really nuts, but
it's so crazy to me. And I'll do consultations at the park by my house, and I'm there'll be people there, and I'm how many people did you say hi to today at this park?
Right. It's a great point.
No one. I'm why?
I know.
Why not? Well, I don't know them. Oh, okay, so it'd be weird if you just went up and hugged them, sprinted into them and hugged them.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be weird. So what is a dog supposed to do then?
Dude, I'll tell you this. Ready? I used to do this on purpose when we used to go on the pack walks in the morning when we were in Hoboken. And everyone's going to work and all busy and shit. Every single person that walked by, I go, hey, good morning to them to say hello. And most people are just walking, But imagine that same person is likely expecting their dog to say hello to everybody on the street.
That's a video for sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
We have to make that into a video.
We should. It would be a good video.
Like a comedy video.
Right. Yeah, but it's good.
We're talking about dog psychology, you know?
Yeah, but like John's saying, though, it allows people to see the human version of it. I wanted to make this video once of, like, me treating, like, humans on the street as these, like, disrespectful, overexcited dogs. Like, just running up to people and jumping on them and grabbing them and shit.
Like grabbing someone's fries?
Just give me those and I'll eat up right away. You know, and see what people would think. They'd be like, oh my God. But with the dog, we're like, oh, he's just being silly. Yeah. You know? It's like, what? No, he's not. Yeah.
Like, just grab someone's ass and be like, I'm just trying to get to know you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to learn who you are. That's all, you know?
Yeah, see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I loved what you were saying, too, though, because I came up with the saying, like, I loved what you were saying about all that stuff, because I came up with the saying, lead your dog, lead your life, right? So Caesar was said to me, he goes, no, Steve, you got it reversed. It's lead your dog, lead your life. And I understand what he's saying, is you have to have your shit together to be able to lead a dog. But my point is if you can learn the principles, the foundation of dog psychology, the state of mind you have to be in, what you need to do to care for a dog and be disciplined and wait at the front door when the dog's trying to go out and learn patience, those things can dramatically affect your life, and you can learn how to lead your freaking life that way, you know? That's what I really think it is. Yeah. A dog has the principles or the foundation of dog psychology are all, look, calmness, confidence, love, joy that Caesar talks about, right? Exercise, discipline, affection, and that, or like all those things are amazing ways for a human being to live. And living in the moment, the biggest one of all. You know what I mean? Dogs.
That's the biggest one. My dad had a heart attack 2 days ago.
Holy shit.
He's fine.
Okay.
He's fine. But it made me realize, like, you know, this quarantine 2020, the kids are home, homeschooling, all this stuff, and it hasn't been the smoothest of the year.
Right.
And it's the thought of losing my dad was like, crap, man, this can end at any moment.
Right.
And I would hate to, like, lose a family member, one of my kids or something like that, because I was yelling at them because their room was dirty.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying they shouldn't clean their room, but there's got to be a better way to communicate
than
just acting mad and asserting your dominance over your kid. Right? Because I want my kids to follow me. I don't want them to just listen to me. I want them to follow me because I set a good example. And this year has taught me, like, dude, you really, really need to slow down. And you need to be in the moment, not just with the dogs, but everywhere else, because we're all struggling. Yeah, I'm upset because the kids are always in the house, but they're also stuck with us, too.
Right.
It gives you a different perspective.
And they stick around because we feed them. They don't have anywhere to go. Kind of like a dog.
Right.
So the least I can do is be pleasant. If I'm not understanding the dog and if I'm not understanding my kids, the least I can do is be pleasant.
Right. And calm.
Right? And calm. And it's easier said than done, but it's a constant practice, and that's the discipline of it. I think people hear discipline and they think of, like, no, man, it's the manner in which you do stuff.
Well, what did you say before that? What did you
in between the lanes on the road?
What did you say before that? They think of discipline as what? It got cut off.
As like the old school principal with the ruler.
Right. Like the militant. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, that's punishment.
I agree.
Not discipline.
It's so true.
Discipline is so that you don't get punished. It's the manner in which you learn things so you don't get punished.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And being disciplined to do certain things.
Don't get a ticket.
Right. And the discipline to do certain things, like I'm going to work out this many days so I can have the result of feeling good and feeling healthy and having energy. So it's a good thing. Yeah. Because it's something you were saying there too, like what about your kids, you don't want to be this. That's the thing, like even the word dominant, when Caesar used it, I explained to people, like, listen, Caesar jumped the border, was a Mexican who spoke Spanish and didn't speak English and went on national TV talking about this stuff, right? And he was doing his best while dealing with red zone dogs, you know, like, so like when he used the word dominant, like the way Americans would perceive dominance is like the forcing and like making a dog live in fear and all that. It's not about that. And they that's why we're changing words. And I think it's good for our generation to say, look, what we mean by that is a leadership thing where a dog wants to follow or a kid wants to follow, not because they're intimidated or fearful of the punishment that's going to happen, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think too, back then, you know, when Caesar was using that word, it was just a different time.
Mm-hmm. I agree too. Way different time.
I think people are a bit more sensitive today.
Oh my God.
You know, just someone's got to be in charge. And when you don't like what's going on, what do you say? Well, I need to speak to your manager.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Who's the manager? Well, I'm the manager. Well, then who's in charge of you?
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the decision maker here?
Who's the decision maker? And there's only, in every company, everywhere, there's only one person in charge.
There has to be. There has to be. There has to be, because that's a natural order to things.
Yeah. When my wife is home, I'm no longer in charge.
That's another conversation.
Yeah.
It's true, though. There has to be a natural order to things. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And to me, that people say it's so mean to make your dog do all these things. And I say back then, I said it's very mean to not give them structure and guidance, let them know clearly what they should be doing during the day. Imagine going to a job and it's like, hey, I'm going to pay you for this job, and you're doing like work, and people are like, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, well, what the hell should I be doing? Please tell me and I'll do it.
Right.
You know? And tell me in a way that's healthy, too. Don't scream at me.
Yeah, everyone needs guidance. Everyone needs structure. When I was going to teaching in positive change, I would tell them, like, even a world of anarchy and having no rules, I go, that's the rule.
Yeah.
It's a rule.
I go, so who's going to be in charge of making sure there's no rules?
That's right.
So you don't really want anarchy. You just want to do things your way.
That's right. That's right. Right.
But everything requires structure. Everything in this world.
Yep.
If you watch all the nature shows, if you just watch everything you do, it has structure to it. It has to. That's just how it works.
Right. It works the most efficiently, too.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. And so what are the plans for 2021? What's going on with that? What's I Pity the Bull up to?
Man, I really hope we start getting back into the schools.
Yeah.
You know.
So what were you doing with the schools?
Huh?
What were you doing with the schools?
We are going into the schools as part of an anti-bullying campaign and using shelter dogs, specifically pit bulls, and correlating them to bullying, racism, discrimination. Basically, if you wouldn't do it to a dog, why would you do it to a human? But also, we share these stories about how humans have let these dogs down time and time again, but they still find it in their heart to forgive you because they know you didn't do it.
That's right. We've been talking a lot about that forgiveness thing, too. Forgiveness is a huge one that I think that the dogs are... just another one. And, that's something we don't even really talk about enough with the dogs is how willing they are to forgive.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
amazing.
Oh, my gosh. My dogs forgive me every day, every 10 minutes.
You know what I mean?
They don't hold on.
Yeah, when you make a mistake, it's like they don't hold you to now I'm not talking to you for the next 4 days. It's like, no, they will. They'll talk right back to you, It's so true. And forgiveness...
God forbid my dog bark when I'm trying to take a nap.
Yeah, I know, right? God forbid. I mean, for me, it was like, I think about it this day, like, with Maddie, I would be like, this dog's snoring. I can't sleep with this dog snoring right now. It would drive me crazy. But then now it's like, what I would get to hear her snoring right now would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
I miss
Or
those
they have
snores.
like an itch in their ear.
Yeah.
Like the starting of an ear infection, and they only shake their ear at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. Constantly. I know.
Just constantly, and then you hear the collars shaking.
Yeah. Then they're getting up and readjusting. Where am I going to
That's
lay?
Nico for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Because, they're totally doing it to ruin your sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly their intention. I know. It's so true. That's amazing. That's a really good one, though. Because, like, the dogs, like, again, even what you're saying about... Because all the things you talked about is people viewing people for the external and beliefs that are already created from somewhere else. What dogs are viewing us is what is the energy inside of there right now. That's what all I care about, And
Oh, yeah.
That's a great way to use dogs to show kids. And it's, again, you're doing prevention, which is amazing. Instead of trying to go into...
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing both. Because you're doing the jail stuff, too, right?
Yeah, hopefully I was supposed to start a new prison in July, but COVID.
Yeah,
So
I know.
We're just waiting for clearance.
So you're really doing prevention and intervention there, which is amazing. It's like what you're doing with dogs, it sounds like, and what I'm doing with dogs, and we're doing it. That's what I'm trying to figure out ways to do that more with humans, too, because this is what it is. It's always, like, even the dog training, we're not really training dogs. We're training people and helping dogs, like, restore for who they really were or find balance of who they were in the beginning,
Yeah.
That's really what the whole game is, and because it's the human behind the dog. Caesar was perfect with that one.
Dogs don't like Elvis isn't on Instagram right now looking to adopt a dog.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know. Like that's what I'm saying too. You know what's funny is like I'm sure you had this too, where like certain clientele, they're like. They're living such a human world based on money, power, fame, that when it comes to like, why in the world is this dog not yesing me to death like my assistants and my, my followers and my employees? Because the dog doesn't give a shit about any of those things. That's all human created crap is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what is money? Paper. It's a fucking piece of paper. Fame? What does that even mean? Because you're popular to people based on what? That you argued on a TV show?
People like you.
Yeah. You're popular because you were on a reality show that had you arguing your face off all day long. Not the best way, So that's what I'm saying. I think it's so important that people see it, what it really is, the human behind the dog.
Yeah.
And that's to me what dog psychology is such a huge part of, which I'm sure you agree with, right?
Oh, 100%. It's just connecting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Correction before connection.
Yeah.
Or connection before correction, right?
I agree.
Like, this dog doesn't know you. Stop telling the dog to sit.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, that's a great point, too. Dog training world will teach you, let's do sit down, stay, come here. But the dog's like, who the fuck are you, by the way? You know what I mean? Do you even understand anything about me? It's like, yeah, we don't care about what you feel, how you are, how I'm making you feel. I don't care about all that. You just need to put your butt on the ground. What? Who cares? Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
And how many dogs do you...
and now that your butt's on the ground, you need to look at me. Oh, and your ears need to be up.
Yeah.
So I can take this picture.
Yeah, exactly. How many people do you work with where the dogs are like trained, meaning they know the obedience, sit down, stay, come, and all that crap, but are completely imbalanced dogs? Or people who have been through trainers, like I've been through trainers, and the dogs come and it's like... you know what, something I ask the people too? I say, how often did your previous trainer ask you how you feel? And they go, never.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use that.
Use that one. Ask them, say like, how often did that person ask you how you feel? Could you imagine like going through relationship counseling and you're like, they're just asking like me, they're asking Jamie all about how she feels. It's like, hey, what's up? Like, I feel a certain way too about things, Yeah.
They're like, no one cares, Steve.
Yeah.
Just sit there.
Just sit. Just put your butt on the ground and look at me with my treat here.
Yeah.
It's so true, but you
Steve looks upset. Throw him some food.
Yeah. This is the thing too, is like I feel like it's such a new thing. Like Caesar loosened the jar in this whole thing of like seeing an animal for what they are, and energy and compatibility and instincts too, right? Like I'm sure you feel this way at times too. It's like, well, John, why did you do that with that dog that way? And it's like, how do I say this? Because it felt right to do it right now that way. My instincts told me that this would work. And I tell people we have them. Everybody has them. It's just a matter of getting in touch with them. That's slowing things down, living in the moment, being calm, and being able to feel it too. Because everybody has them. They just don't realize that they do. So then they go to intellectual world on like, I know the theory. You know what one I said recently too? Is like, I'm sure you deal with these intellectuals who know, in their mind, they know the theory of a dog, and they know what dogs, they think they know dogs, but in what I've been saying is they know of dogs, they don't actually know dogs.
Right.
You know what I mean? They know of the theory.
This dog.
Yes.
This dog in front of you.
Right. They don't know that individual, they know the theory of a species. Based on other people's observations and theories. I'm like, well, are you feeling that there's energy about this dog that's right in front of you right now? But it's like, and it's such a one size fits all. I know this type of training, I'm going to do this, and it's for all. I don't really like try to pigeonhole anybody into that shit because they're all, not all, but most. That's for the lawyers.
It's like the disclaimer. You have to start putting that on the bottom of the screen.
My attorney's going to be like, great job on that one. No, not all, but most of them are like, I'm going to learn this training thing, and then but then also like, I don't know where it comes from. This is where I think what you would agree to is like their own internal thing going on, where it's like, well, now I know this thing, so I'm going to shout it from the mountaintop, even though I don't really believe it totally or know it. I'm just going to say that I know it. And I'm like, well, why don't you just be more humble and just understand and listen to everything?
There's a million ways to do the same thing.
Yes.
But the best way is the way that keeps you calm.
Yeah, correct. You know what I mean? That's another thing, too. Do you find that people in the rescue world, like you were saying how a lot of people are rescuing dogs to cope with certain things, But do you find that people also go to the rescue world to do the same thing? To say like I found people that like, at least in my work, is like there's people who go to the rescue world because they're like, humans have failed me in my life and I've been bullied, I've had things that happen to me, so I now hate humans, but animals accept me. But then it becomes almost like an overcompensation, and animals can suffer because of it.
Yes. So when I first got into fostering, that time in my life with all the concussions and all that stuff, it was hard for me. And I lost a lot of friends.
Yep.
And I just wasn't in a good place. And then I found dog rescue. So I found a group of people that were like so accepting of me and all this stuff, and it felt so good.
Yeah.
But I still didn't have the other part of my life. I didn't close that chapter. I was still holding on to that. So what I did, I used people that gave up on their dogs or didn't adopt, and I lashed out at them because I didn't have the balls to close the other chapter of my life. And I kept doing it because I had social media telling me, yeah, keep it up. Yeah, keep it up. You're doing a great job. Yeah, fuck those people. Yeah. And I became angrier.
Yeah.
And I became even more upset at the people that I didn't have the balls to tell everything I needed to tell them.
Right.
And one day I remember just reading a post and I was like, you sound like a douche. You need to stop.
Yeah.
And that's when I got that closure. And then that's when I was just like, okay, not everyone that needs to give up their dog is an idiot.
Right.
Like, maybe they do need help.
Right.
Maybe it's not the right fit.
Right.
So
that's empathy.
I absolutely agree. Like, it's just, we just need to find a way to have happiness in our own lives before we think we can spread it to everyone else.
I so agree with you. Yeah, if you don't have it, how can you give it?
No, you can't. You're just, so
it's such an important,
I've seen so many therapists. I've been through it all, and it's just like, it's not easy.
No. Who's your best therapist? The dogs?
Know that it can end at any time.
Who's your best therapist?
So
the dogs?
People that care about you, love them and be with them. And be present.
Yep, I agree. And who was your best therapist of all? The dogs?
The one that told me to get a dog.
There you go. That's right.
Great
That's
advice.
right. That's right. Give her a nice tip this year. It's literally life-changing, and people can learn so much about themselves. It's like, the dog's not, if you don't know anything about dogs, you're not going to be able to make the change, obviously, so you need the information or people to guide you and learn the stuff. But what is it required is to be open-minded, to be able to, in my opinion, to look within. It's like we all it's so funny, like all of us who are surround like the Caesar's Way thing and all that, like we've all been through shit, all different types of things, been through different obstacles and all that. But it's given us a real understanding of what it is. And I really feel like we're going to be the ones who can now educate the world and help Caesar continue this mission, to be honest. Because it's like, look at 2020 and look at politics, look at the anger. Go on social media and watch how angry everybody is. The anger is just out of control. Fear, anger, hate, just like screaming and yelling too. Like, just God forbid you post anything about anything, it's just nonstop, as opposed to just like, let me calm down and listen. But it's just showing the state, in my opinion, of what people are. And that's why dogs are suffering right now too.
Hell yeah. It's funny, I often get, wow, you're so good with the dogs and explaining stuff, not like that Caesar guy.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so good.
That Caesar guy,
Why do you think that is, John?
Huh?
Why do you think that is?
Social media.
Nice.
Just media in general.
Yeah.
If you read an article and you're in the right state of mind to believe that article, you just run with it.
Yep.
Right? Or you see someone else blatantly kick a dog, and then they're going around saying, oh yeah, I'm a Caesar guy.
Yeah.
Right? Caesar never even met this guy. But apparently this guy has, and Caesar taught him this through the horse.
Yeah.
His own home.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a Caesar trainer.
So now we're just going to blame Caesar for what someone else did.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's easier.
It is.
It's easier.
It's easier than actually looking and understanding.
Yeah.
That's what I find is the big thing with him. He's one of the most misunderstood guys there is out there, especially when it comes to dogs. But when you but a lot of these people will see like working with a red zone dog or see something, and then someone's telling him this is why it's bad, and they're like you said, they're in that mindset of be like, yeah, you're right, that is bad. I hate Cesar Millan. He's an animal abuser. He's a this. He's a that. It's like you could go to his ranch and take TCW and let me know if you have the same opinion.
Yeah.
Go see.
Yeah. Yeah, that TCW was life-changing.
Me too.
Like, for real. I'm not even trying to, like, be over dramatic.
No.
But it was totally life-changing. Like, and I met so many awesome people because of that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would talk to after. But yeah,
Right.
look, here we are.
Here we are, 6, 7 years later, dude. I remember talking to you at the workshop you took, and you were telling me this whole story and stuff. It feels like it wasn't even that long ago either. That's the craziest part. And like I haven't talked to you in a minute, you know what I mean? And then we come on here, and it's just like right back to it, you know? That's what I thought this was awesome about it. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, that's it. Living in the moment.
I'm not like, oh no, Steve wants to do a podcast. I haven't talked to that guy in I don't know how long.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be awkward.
I know. I'm like, hell yeah, let's get John on here. This is gonna be awesome. You know what I wanted to ask you too is like, what are you noticing the difference between normal times and COVID times when it comes to adoption?
Probably a spike.
Well,
obvious,
they're a
yeah.
lot more codependent than they make themselves out to be.
Yep. I think it's like the sale of I have the time now, so I really want to spend it with. Well, yeah, you have all this time to do nothing now, so what the hell am I supposed to do? Let me just start petting a dog.
Yeah. So your dog has watched both seasons of The Mandalorian 15 times already, but you haven't gone out on one walk.
Right. It's so true, dude. I did a post. We did a post called "The Illusion of Love," and how people always talk. It was like on the podcast. Adam asked me to talk about it, and I was saying like, people will talk about all day long that first of all they won't walk the dog, they don't give it any structure, they don't give a fuck what kind of food it eats. They're like, none of the needs taken care of. But when they go out with their friends, they're all showing the pictures of how much they love and telling everybody how much they love. Oh my god, look at how cute she looks. I love her. I love it. And I'm like, what you love is the way that dog makes you feel value. But you don't really love that dog in a real way, because if you did, you put that dog as priority number 1 or in the top at least 3 of your life. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, fulfilling their
right
needs.
up there with, like, brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Like, maybe put the dog above brushing the teeth. That would be, you know what I mean? It's so true, dude.
And it's like, I tell my clients, I'm like, well, you don't have to walk your dog first thing in the morning, but you just know you need to at some point. Like, if you're not feeling it, or if you're sick, if you're not feeling it, you don't have to walk your dog today.
Right.
That's fine. Right? I'm supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day too. I don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Right.
But I'm also not going to drink 24 the next day.
Right.
Right? But just if you miss a day, just go. Just walk the dog.
That comes into the living in the moment thing too. It's like you made it, like that happened there, but that's past. What can you do right now? That's a big thing for life too. I mean, I'm sure with all the shit you went through and everything and what I was through, it's like you can. The biggest thing that I got all fucked up with was stacking all these negative emotions and things from the past, like all my failures, all that. It just eventually feels like this monstrous weight on you. You can't do anything almost. But then it becomes, if you go, you know what? This is what Maddie helped me with, was like, just get off your ass and go for a walk, dude. Right now. Just do that right now. This dog needs a walk. Go give him for a walk. Just start with that right now. Start with one thing and what's in front of you right now. Don't worry about what's going on. Because the dog's not worried about the future. Oh, well, what are we doing tomorrow? Or the past. To be honest, yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not going to spend my time thinking about it.
I agree.
Try not to.
Our human side to us, and like the programming from our parents and grandparents, whoever raised us, is going to come in and influence us. But it's our job as adults to see that for what it is. It's like, this thought is not actually me that's having this. That tomorrow, what's going to happen? It's fine. I'm going to be like a dog and live in the moment now. It actually takes work for us to do it. Dogs are like, hey, what's up? I'm in the moment, always, 100% of the time. A dog is like that. And we're all like blaming dogs for what's wrong with them. Meanwhile, all humans were doing meditation, yogas, fucking like cold shower, all these things to try to like, how can I just live in the moment? Dog's like, I do this all the
Yeah,
time.
but they're only living in the moment to take the picture.
That's true. It's, you know what's funny, by the way, about that?
Take the picture and then that's it.
And it's where focus goes, too, because people will live in the moment when it's like, well, right now something bad's happening, so let's focus on this bad thing right now. Like, oh yeah, you're living in the moment, but you're also, like, only selecting the negative bullshit to live in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
Or what suits their life,
It's
too.
just, you know, like I said, social media is like, it's based in fear, and they're like, here, let me give you something more scary so that you can get over this fear.
Yeah. That's what's happening now, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's keeping people trapped in fear and fear. And then I keep saying, I'm like, do you guys understand that the media business is a business? And their job is to keep you tuning in to what's the next horror scene that's going to happen. Let's keep you. And so they're raking in the dough, selling advertising, and you keep viewing like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's like, no, thank you.
That's every
Yeah.
industry, everything.
Not the dog industry.
Oh yeah,
It's
oh, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
No, it is.
You know?
Totally
And
is.
It's just, at the end of the day, just be kind. Just be nice to people. Like, who cares who you voted for? Who cares whatever? Just be nice.
That's right. Some people are unaware, though, is they have this illusion that they are nice and they are kind and they are this thing, but that just goes to the point of not really looking within and really understanding who they are. It's like you're telling me, like I had someone tell me this the other day in a post. You'll love this one. It says, she goes, "You're a real jerk for the way you talk about that dog." So I'm like, okay. So I'm talking about a dog that has anxiety and fear. I'm just describing what the dog is, and yet you're calling me a jerk. You know, like the hypocrisy in it. Like I'm a jerk, but then I talked about a dog away, and you're calling me a jerk because of the way I talked about that dog. Yet you just talked about me that way.
Yeah.
So that's just a lack of awareness.
Well, don't change.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't change.
Exactly. I know. It's just they're lost in that way, but it's again you're not really able to make anybody do anything. Our goal, I think, is through their dog. This is why I love about what we do is like through the dog being able to let them see. Because if you just go to somebody, you're anxious, they're gonna right away put up the wall. You know what I'm saying? And be like, I'm not anxious. There's no way. Blah blah. And it's, you go to so this dog's experiencing anxiety. Do you experience anything like that? And they're like, yeah, a little bit, and then I right away go to direct it away from them. But like, so do any of your parents have anxiety? Oh, that's likely where you got it from. So it's not like a them thing, you know?
Yeah.
So then once I feel like they can like come to terms, oh, so anxiety is not me. It's not like a label of who I am. It's just something that I'm dealing with. And my dog is pointing that out to me, which is kind of cool that I have this animal who's being 100% honest with me of how I'm feeling and being.
Yeah.
You know? That's why I think dogs are right now like the biggest gift to the world, and I think it's like the biggest secret, I would say, in changing the way the world will be, like globally.
I agree.
You know?
I agree, 100%.
Because there's so many of us who've been through
I
it.
tell clients all the time, I'm like, would you date that? When I see their dog doing it, like, would you date that? Like, if you were watching a movie on the couch with your girl, and you got up to get a glass of water, and she followed you 5 feet away from the couch.
Yeah.
And you turned around and spilled your water, and she was like, I miss you.
Or you go to the bathroom and she's crying outside the door.
And she's just like sticking her hands under the door.
Yeah. Hurry up, come back.
Yeah, you'd run for the hills.
Yeah.
Let our dogs do that.
Yeah.
And then we leave the house, and then now that same person is texting you 8,000 times
Yeah.
while you're gone.
Where are you? Yeah.
Now you're mad at that. You're mad at that.
Yes. Yeah. You're mad on what you created. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the biggest hard one, too, I think, for people to realize that they're actually creating this stuff in a dog. The dog wasn't born that way with anxiety and aggression and fear and all that shit. That was created or enhanced by the human or human error. But it's okay to understand that, yeah, I made errors because I didn't know. I'm sure you do it, too. Like, I never want to make people who really don't know feel wrong. Because if you don't know, how can you be wrong? You know? It's not wrong to not know. But it is wrong to be to say, I don't even want to know. You know? Or to know that my dog needs a walk and say, fuck that. I don't feel like I just want to pet my dog. To me, that's then wrong, you know? Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, you can't get mad at your dog because they're acting out.
That's it. That's it.
You give up that right. If you're not going to take the time to teach it, you give up the right to be upset with your dog.
Yeah. I agree. It's so true. So true.
The least you can do is just don't get mad. don't get mad at your dog then.
Try to understand, why is this happening? Because getting mad at the dog is just anger within.
Oh, yeah.
A dog doesn't make a human angry. A dog doesn't make a human... he makes me so anxious. No. That dog is putting a spotlight on your anxiety is what he's doing. Okay? Because I always ask them, well, where else are you anxious? And they're like, well, work, my kids, my husband, my friends, my parent. You know, it's like all over. So, okay. Yeah. Now you have a dog who's luckily pointing that out for you, but are you going to do anything about it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Simple, not easy, right?
Yeah, that's it. It really is. We're humans, so we make shit complicated. We complicate it like, could it just be that I'm not giving my dog enough exercise? It could be.
Right.
It's got to be something else. It's got to be something way more complicated than that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
I don't have time. I don't have time to walk my dog.
Oh, yeah, don't give me that shit. I love that one. That's the one where I go, okay, let's start auditing. I call it auditing your minutes. Let's check every minute of your day. If I had a video camera surveilling you all day long, when you watch the Real Housewives of Orange County for fucking 2 hours straight, that would have been a 2-hour walk right there, by the way. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. It's awesome, man.
I mean, I don't think people have like this wheel that they spin on how to psychologically fuck up their dog.
Right.
Right. So I do believe that, and I think people are trying their best. But like I tell my clients, and I even tell adopters, like once you know, you can't pretend that you don't.
That's right. It's so true.
So the information I'm gonna give you, like you can do what you want with it, but now you're gonna be aware of everything.
That's right. That's the biggest thing.
And do what you want, because I don't live with you. I don't know. I have my own stuff I need to do.
This is what I do. I tell them, I'm like, I can't make you do anything with your dog. I can't make any of you do any of this stuff. I'm just telling you, because I'm sure you get this one. It's like, well, when can I pet him? Well, when can I pet him? And when do I get to put him back on the couch and back in the bed? I go, listen, you can do that. You don't have to listen to what I'm advising you to do. This is based on a lot of experience from some very talented people and myself. I'm recommending doing this. If you don't do it, that's fine. There's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just your dog is going to behave like this, and don't blame your fucking dog for it then. That's it.
Yep.
It's okay. It's like, I always...
Hey, I saw a dog on your couch. I said, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's really that. It's like, I equate a lot of it to like diet and nutrition too. It's like if you eat these foods and you work out like this is what your result will likely be. If you eat fucking McDonald's, well, maybe we'll get sponsored by McDonald's someday. But if it's some fast food or some bullshit, and you're drinking soda all day long, and you never work out, then your body's gonna look like that. That's just how it's gonna be, you know?
Yeah, and you can't decide. And if you decide to wake up one day and work out, you can't work out for 3 hours that day and expect changes.
Yeah, correct.
And then blame your personal trainer because he didn't help you.
Yeah, he showed you everything. I'm going to blame my personal trainer for my lack of discipline. You know? It's not fair. I think that's like why I've been talking about so much of accountability and awareness too. Like those are to me the prerequisite to like so much shit in life. Like actually making an effort to become self-aware, asking those questions. Like I've been having meetings with my staff and stuff too of like, ask yourself the question, could this be possible that this is a thing? Instead of just... I love that. What was the one that we saw? It's not there. It can't be, therefore it's not, or something. Like people have this thing. What did I just say? Fuck.
It can't be, therefore it's not.
So they have a belief. It can't be. I couldn't be anxious, therefore I'm not anxious. You know what I mean? So if that's the belief, then all right, then you're not anxious, even though your dog's telling you, your wife's telling you, the world is telling you are. You're unhappy. You have no peace in your life.
Yeah.
You're the one who's the loser on that, but they think they're winning because they put up this wall and they don't want to be vulnerable and all that, you know? Man.
Oh, yeah. It happens. My wife will be like, hey, you look upset. Are you upset? No, I'm not upset.
I know. I love that one. Or it's like, are you anxious? Like, no, I'm not anxious. Not anxious at all. I got nothing going on. I'm fine. Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
What makes you think I'm upset when you just slammed the door?
Yeah, you just threw a glass at me. That's why. So true. All right, so John, where can everybody find you?
We're on Instagram, Facebook. I live in Chino, California. You'll probably see me walking some dogs.
Hell yeah, that's great. And it's at I Pity the Bull, correct?
I Pity the Bull, and then at Humble Canine. Humble Canine's more of just training and explaining behavior, and I pity the bulls more. It'll tug at your heartstrings a little bit, but through a dog psychology kind of way.
I love it. No, I appreciate you, man. Like I was so happy to hear your story years ago, and what you're doing for the rescue community, I think is fantastic, dude. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah. Likewise, Steve. I've seen you. When I met you, you had like, I don't know, 2,000 followers.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, I need some more followers.
Like I have watched you grow, and it's been amazing. Like, do not change.
Thanks,
like,
bro.
Keep putting that content out there.
That's it.
I often, especially like the puppy stuff, my puppy clients, I send them to your page.
I appreciate that. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. It's really important, that prevention thing. It's really important.
Yeah. Real quick, we just adopted a pug Shih Tzu.
A pug Shih Tzu?
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she looks like a little black Ewok. And for 5 months, I didn't let the kids pick her up.
And I'm sure that was a big challenge, but how is it paying off?
Oh, it's great. And even my wife will say, like, John sucked all the fun out of having a puppy, but now we have the best dog.
That's right.
And I told her, I'm like, watch our kids. When they get something new, they're super excited about it, and then they just kind of forget about it. I go, that toy doesn't care because it's not alive.
Right.
I go, but if you keep letting kids pick up the dog, they're going to get over the newness of the dog. And what we've created is now a dog that's going to be like, oh, maybe I need to be more excited to get their attention.
Correct.
So now we have this little yappy dog that looks like a yappy dog and just sits there.
Yeah. That goes back to what you were saying, too. It goes back to what you were saying about the instant gratification, too. It's like, yeah, you can take your instant gratification and just let that puppy climb all over you and pet him and teach him all the wrong shit, teach him excitement, teach him to whine, teach him to beg for food and all that. You got your fun, one puppyhood, and all of a sudden that dog goes into adolescence and then into adulthood, and you're dealing with hell for the next 15 years.
Yep.
So, decide what you want. That's why another lesson what the dogs are teaching us. But it's just a matter of people want to look and be open-minded to it.
Yeah.
The answers are there.
You have to have the plan before you start doing the plan.
Yes. That's like the one, dude. They come to me. They say, when should I start with training my dog? And I go, so do you own the dog? Do you have the dog yet? Yeah, I've had him for like 3 months. I'm like, you've been training him for 3 months, just so you know. You know? Well, what are you training him? The stupid shit to do? Or are you training him how to be an effective, calm follower dog, fulfilled dog? You're doing one or the other.
It's like IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
Every time I get IKEA furniture, I do not read the instructions. I just open everything up.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Halfway through it, and I'm like, oh, I should read the instructions.
Like, whoops, I set that up
and
completely
then I
wrong.
name IKEA furniture.
Yeah. That's great. Anyway, dude, this has been great. We should do this more often, too. We had a bunch of questions, lined up, but we've been long, so we can do that maybe in another time, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we have
For
to
sure.
Whenever you'll have me, I'm down.
Hell yeah, man.
Sweet.
It's really cool. This has been awesome. All right, so John Flores. I was about to look at the camera over
Yeah,
here.
I saw
Over
that.
there. John Flores, I Pity the Bull. Thank you, man. You're doing amazing work. Keep up the awesome work. Love you, bro. And we'll see you hopefully soon when we can start traveling again.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Hell yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, bro. Be good, man.
Bye, John.
Later, bro.
You too. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
thanks. Awesome.
That was great. So
Yeah.
that was John from I Pity the Bull. Super cool guy. I remember meeting John he came and I was like, who is this dude who's got his little pity here? He had his dog Fletcher. And I was like, this guy's an interesting guy. And I ended up talking to him and he told me the whole story about how he got his concussions and all the shit he
great
went
story.
through.
Really good story.
And then I shared with him all the shit that I've shared with you guys, all the shit I went through. And it's like, I love the openness of the dog people like him.
Yeah.
Who are, to me, that's like a rescue person setting an amazing example, who's not using the rescue world to cope with issues.
Right.
Or to come up in a weird way.
Yeah, or try to tell people and be angry and use it as exactly, being a way to be angry at people or shame people or all that. He's using it as a way to try to get people to see what he got to see, what I got to see by through an animal, what it can tell you about yourself. Which is, I think, is so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
You should find out who his therapist was, too. That's
Yeah,
why
I
he wants
know.
to get a dog. That's
I
where it
know.
all started.
Yeah.
Who's that therapist?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because you know what? It's one of those things too. And this is, again, not all, but most. It seems to me when I talk to people who have been through therapy, it's similar to the dog world. They've been through a bunch of trainers. It's in therapy, let's teach you, again, this is just my own viewpoint on it, but let's teach you, like, you have these issues, so let's teach you just how to cope with them.
Right.
Same thing with dogs.
Instead of
It's
getting
like,
to
you
the
have
root of it.
aggression or you have, like, insecurity, so let me just give you medication.
Right.
I'm like, well, what about over here? How are we going to get to the root of this thing? Well, that's a lot of work, and then it requires this, and how do we do it? But that's the real answer. So the real answer
That's
is
going to help you long term.
You know, it's
but
something
again,
to-
everybody wants instant gratification.
Yeah, and it's something too, like, what did you expect? Like, you think the world is going to be, like, just give you shit? Because that's what a lot of people are thinking now.
A lot of people do.
Some people, in my opinion, need to suffer. I was a person who needed to suffer based on the shit that I went through. And
Well, yeah, some people need to hit rock bottom.
yeah,
before
I
they
needed to
can-
suffer. I needed to suffer and get to a place where I had to, like, figure shit out. The problem is that there are people suffering who don't know how to get out of it or don't have the help to get out of it or aren't viewing it. That's why, that's really the thing, like the behind the scenes thing when it comes to, like, this podcast and all the content we share is, like, you've seen me write it. I'm like, if you're in a depressed state or something going on, send me a fucking message. Even if you have nobody in your life, like, I'll take time because that's more value to me than going and making 10 grand working with some, like, celebrity or something. No, I'd rather, like, go and help that one person, like, talk them off a ledge, as they would say, or, like, get them to realize a different viewpoint, or all the shit people were saying about you or your parents are saying about you, or this negative self-talk like John was talking about. That's all bullshit. Don't listen to all that stuff. That's not true. That's not who you are. Your past does not equal your future. I guarantee you. How do you know, Steve? Me. So far, at least.
Well, that's the thing. You can relate.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's
And
so important.
that's my, like, belief is that I had to go through that shit to be able to, like, and John had to go through that, and we all had to go through our own traumas and dealings, but then have the courage to face ourselves and face the shit that came out of all that and learn from it and move forward with the wisdom to help others. Because this is what the universe teaches us, is about giving. How can I give? Well, how can I... But everyone's on this take thing. How do I take? I want this dog to give me. I want to take from the dog so I get feeling good. I get this emotion. I want the government to give me money. I want, like, my
Everyone
parents
wants
to just give me every gift that I want.
Play victim.
Yeah, and then if I don't get it, I'm poor me. Fuck you, poor you. What was the one the guy said recently? Oh my god! Instead of why me, what about why not you? So, like, why is this all happening to me? Well, why wouldn't it be? Because why is this all happening to me? Almost comes from a standpoint of I'm better than others.
Right.
This shouldn't happen.
Right.
Any sort of adversity shouldn't happen to me. Why me?
not?
Well, why not you?
Right. What makes you so
Or
special?
maybe why you? Because you're lucky enough to go through this shit at whatever age you are to now learn from it and then move forward. It's just a matter of, are you able to do it and see it?
Or do you want to go through a perfect life? I know I wouldn't.
Fuck that shit. There's no such thing.
Well, but I'm just saying that's the illusion that people
Yeah.
have. But,
Well,
but
they have-
imagine if you did just go through this.
But there is an illusion of, like, that there is such thing as a perfect life. And this is what I love talking about. Where am I talking to, by the way? Over here still?
Yes.
Yeah. What I love talking about is like, I've now had the what's it, like, the not the ability. Yeah, it is the ability, but, like, the privilege, I guess you could say, of seeing people from all facets of life.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that I used to idolize and say, but look at their life. That's a celebrity. Look at how much money they have. I've seen of these people. Not all, by the way. It's like, and this is not even a not all but most thing. This is just.
I'm gonna get you a shirt like
I've
that.
seen both though.
Not all.
Not all, but
No.
most.
I've seen some super aware, super self-aware, super kind, super
Mm-hmm.
generous, super, like, super nice, calm celebrities, rich people, all that stuff. And I've also seen anxious ones, nervous ones, fearful ones, super insecure ones, angry ones, ungrateful ones, focused on the wrong shit. So I've seen them both. So to me, it's like this money thing doesn't equal anything. So stop looking at these people like they're, like, some separate thing and they have it all figured out, because I assure you they don't.
A lot of times.
They're coming to me behind the scenes with their fucked up dogs,
Right.
which is, like, fine, and I'm happy to help them with that. But my goal is to be able to let them also see about themselves, like, what's happening with you. Like, there's nothing better to me than, like, when I have, like, a real talk with people about, like, you know, don't forget about what this dog's telling you, though. And I care about you. No, I'm sure your staff and your people, or whoever, or your husband, or your this. And I'm not talking about just celebrities. I'm talking about all people. I'm like, just look at this for yourself. Just I'm talking, like, me to you. Like, just maybe, like, take a look at this and don't let your life just pass you by in this, like, rat race type of thing, or, like, just trying to achieve this thing that's like unachievable. Like, once I make this type of money, then I'll be happy. I've seen we've seen them with like the extreme wealth. Extreme.
Yes.
This is like talking about like I don't know people like with this level of wealth type thing. Maybe like these princes in Saudi Arabia or some shit. But like the extreme in the B of wealth type thing, and seeing the unhappiness there.
Right. I wouldn't trade my life for theirs with all the problems that
The
they
stress
have.
and then the needs and then like
It's like
they
you say, more money, more problems.
yeah, and it's like the thing where like, and once people realize there's always going to be problems everywhere they go. Because when
I
you
like what you were saying actually about the business recently.
Yeah.
How there's always going to be problems.
yeah.
Right.
We just have to get comfortable with, the problems
How do
coming
you
up.
deal with the
and-
problems
Yeah,
and
look,
move
we were
forward?
saying-
We're fine.
Because solving this problem can present the next problem, but
Right.
it's creating better problems.
Right.
So like, okay, we need somebody to drive a van. Let's just say, this is the one I use with you. We need somebody to drive a van. Okay, we solved the problem. We got the person to drive the van. New problem. How are you paying for that person?
Right.
New problem. This person's a little bit lazy at times, and it's just going to create more of that problem. And you solve that problem, and they're getting paid, but now they want a raise. You know what I mean? But then they left, and you have another. The problems are going to keep going on. So when people realize that life is going to be full of problems, but it's how do you handle those problems is the real fucking answer to the whole thing.
Right.
But look, like John went through it just like I did. Of like when I went through my adversity, it was like the poor me, the victim. How was I handling? I was handling it pretty shitty, but
Right.
based on like how my past was. But then when I learned how to handle it, I'm like, no more of this poor me thing. It's up to me. I don't need anybody else. I can do
Right.
this myself. I can get out of this shit myself.
That's when the change happens.
That's when the real change happens. When you realize the power is within.
Yes.
So the dogs are saying about you, yo, by the way, you within are not doing a good job on yourself. You don't even know yourself. You know when we ask, like, isn't it interesting when we ask these people, like, I'll be in a session, I'll say, so how are you feeling? And they go like this, fine.
That's
And
not
I
a
go,
feeling.
and you know, I go like this, I go, so how are you feeling? And they go, I'm good. I go, so how are you feeling? I keep saying, they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, good is not a feeling. Fine is not a feeling. I feel, and then all of a sudden I ask them like 4 times in a row, and then they go, I feel a little anxious. Because they're actually finally looking.
Right.
Like actually finally being like, what is he trying to say? What is he seeing about me? Or whatever.
Well, because you're not accepting that answer.
Yeah, because don't give me your pre-programmed response that everybody will say, hey, how you doing? Good. Okay. And they just
Yeah,
walk
right.
away. You know? I really want to know how you're feeling. Because I'm seeing something and feeling something. Are you feeling the same way? I'm not judging you for it. I'm no better than you. But I am feeling some shit right here. Mm-hmm. So what's all that about? And that's the thing that I was saying to him about, like, some people can say, that's really mean that you point that out. Well, there's a strategy on building rapport and doing the proper way of doing that. But I think it's also mean to let someone just coast through life like that right in front of your fucking eyes, like struggling. And you don't want to say it to them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. They're already hurt. They're fucking hurt at that point. They're hurt. They're psychologically hurt. They're in a down state. Mm-hmm. So pointing that out and trying to give them solutions and help them. Hey, I'm noticing this. I feel like I'm seeing this, or I see this, or I'm noticing, like, do you need anything? And that, just even the thing of that is very helpful for someone in that state as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, this is also for the people who are trying to help people. If that person's not willing to make the change, it's not your problem. It's not your fault. It's not your responsibility. That's something that I had a real issue with, was like trying to tell somebody, these are the things that I'm noticing about you, these are the things that you could be better with or work on, and not take the advice, and I would take it personally.
Right.
Or I would be
We're learning
viewing
about
it.
that now, actually, not to use should. Like, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should
That's
do
a big
that.
one.
Yeah.
It's a big one for us to realize.
Yeah, you should.
You know what? And I wanted to say this to both of you guys. We're not going to be using should anymore. We're just going to be here in support.
You should be quiet right now. By the way.
Thank you so much. And so we won't use should anymore, but we'll be here to support, and we accept each other.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to start saying things to even our clients and be like, hey,
Even
we accept
should
you.
versus could.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
You should calm down instead of like, you could calm down. It's a very different.
It's an option.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an option of a.
That's what I'm getting fascinated about. Like, the reason like I study all this crazy shit, like I'm doing the master class now with the negotiator guy, is not because I'm like trying to go like my primary focus is how I'm going to negotiate some fucking terrorist thing or like negotiate some like crazy business deal. It's what I'm learning about how to be able to influence somebody in the best way. You can't make anybody do anything, but you can influence them without them even almost realizing and getting them to do. So it's a scary skill because you can
I
take
was going to say, it depends
that's like
where
a
you
way
go
of
with
sales.
that.
It's like a sales thing.
Yeah.
You can sell people on like a lot of crazy shit. That's what cult leaders do. Mm-hmm. like as crazy as this sounds, like a guy like Adolf Hitler, as evil of a person, like a master influencer. How do you influence that many fucking people to listen to that nonsense that you did? You know what I mean? Because he was a very good influencer.
Right. Yeah.
But you can do it with evil and hate and anger and all that shit. But you can also do it with good. So that's like the battle of this world right now.
Good versus evil.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about simplifying shit. That's what we've been talking a lot of. It's like literally down to, like, look, we could talk about breed racism, right? Like, people are against breeds. That's just an hateful act. It's the hate of a specific breed. So that's hate, and that's wrong.
Simple.
It comes out in breed racism. Right. That's the result, and that's where it gets like out there. But it all started from here, from anger and hate and evil. It's wrong. I mean, the wrong to hate anything for just what it is wrong. Hate, period, is wrong.
Right, and how many people have it?
Yeah.
And do it.
You know why
this is a good one.
You know why they have that? Because they haven't forgave.
Forgiveness, exactly. Don't even start with that shit. We'll go
I was going to say, that's another...
But we talked about forgiveness here, about how dogs are forgiven.
Yeah, and it had a lot to do with what we're talking about, with why there's hate, why that even exists. It's because people don't forgive.
People are refusing to forgive because they think they're letting people off the hook, but it's really forgiving and having empathy and understanding where that thing came from, not taking it, I mean, I guess it is somewhat personal, but not taking it personal like it's, like forgiving them doesn't let them off the hook, is what my point is. Forgiving them is like, we should come up with a thing, like forgiving them is like releasing anger and releasing hate and negativity that you had towards them, but you had inside of you.
But you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah, the forgiveness is for you, not
but that's
for
what people think. People think that they're forgiving.
Well, because the world focuses on what the other person is doing.
Right.
Well, it's like, what are you doing? This comes back to you should. Well, what about what you should yourself?
Right.
You know? Like, you have all your shit figured out? No. Then stop fucking telling me what to do.
Yeah.
You know? Like, forcing me to do shit. You can suggest things. That's why all the stuff that we talk about, yeah, there are times like stop blaming your fucking dog. Like I posted that the other day.
I love that one.
But that's also, I'm saying that in a way to create like a what? Stop blaming my dog. But
it's like gotta capture someone's attention.
Because it's a negative thing. You're blaming a dog for bullshit. Don't do that. It's like not good for you in a way. Like blame yourself. That goes right back to that. Blame yourself. Blame you. This is where all the shit comes from. You don't need anything. We could go on forever about this thing. But
well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
this was awesome.
Podcast.
This was good.
Thank you guys.
Even though we didn't get to any questions, but it was still really good.
I know.
Steve was asking questions the whole time, and I think the questions you were asking were really good because you deal with a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I love is like I hadn't talked to John and I don't even know the last time I talked to him. We were even talking about having him come on the Instagram Live at one point, right? And we never had him on.
Yes, yeah.
So it's been a while since I talked.
And just so everybody knows, while you're watching this podcast, this was like a huge test for us. We haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
So if it's
Should
a little bit
the
sloppy,
intel of why we did it?
If it's a little sloppy, if it's a little incomplete, that's the reason why.
John, don't take this the wrong way, but no,
he's the best person to have
John.
No, he's awesome. John's the best.
He's the best person
and
to
I want to
have
do this way more often too. So we
Yeah.
were testing this for bringing people on the Ask Pack Leader, and we're normally going to ask questions and stuff like that, but also because given COVID and all the bullshit going on. For the Pack Leader experience, we're going to have our guests likely be here if they're not in the area and that kind of thing. So we wanted to get that going and test that all out more for Adam. And for me too, it's good for me to like practice like looking at the screen and looking at the camera and understanding all that stuff. But that's like also a thing of an awareness thing too, an accountability thing. Like if I like couldn't figure out the questions, it's like who am I going to I could blame him, I could blame you. How come you didn't prepare me? Well, I didn't prepare myself.
Right.
But I also find myself being prepared by being like unprepared for that.
Being in the moment also.
Yeah, like I like to live in the moment and just be like...
You operate much better like that.
Yeah, because it's like, I
did tell him, though, he does need to work on script, like reading scripts and doing that, because why not? I could build the skill up a little bit, you know?
That's something... Because that's another one that I'm not as comfortable with.
Yes.
Because I'm not as familiar with.
You weren't familiar with us filming at first, and look how good you are now.
Yeah,
you
it's
got
like,
really
the camera, which
with
camera are we going to look at right now? It doesn't make a difference to me. But then, like...
Get on Jamie's camera.
But then, like, then you put the teleprompter, or like, all right, read these 4 lines. I'm like, oh my God, it's the worst.
My name is
Hello, my
Steven.
name is Stevi Del Sevilla. It's like, bro, that's your name.
Just read the script.
Like, bro, that's exactly your own fucking name.
Read your name.
I know, but I don't know how to do this.
Don't read it like a robot.
Yeah, don't really know that. I mean, like, dude, I remember too, like, when years ago when I made like a promo video and I was fat as all hell, like you loved to spit it all over your computer. I was literally like a blimp in the thing, and I'm like,
fat as all hell.
The
way he
gotta
describes
ask,
himself.
you
too.
have to ask Cassie. I'm sitting in the
best.
room and the guy was like filming me, and I was literally profusely sweating that I needed a towel to keep wiping myself down before each like one. Pack leader dogs is the and I feel so cheesy and the whole thing, you know. But it's that's what I feel like because I'm unfamiliar doing it.
Right.
But then if you go to like a news anchor who's been doing it for 20 years, and they're like, yeah, put the teleprompter on right away. But then like for them, they're off on the side. It's like, so how do you feel about this thing going on in society? They're like, where's my script?
Right.
Or I'm
They're
like,
not
I don't
used
want
to
a fucking script. Get the thing out of here. Yeah. But I think that's.
I mean, for us, I think it's better that you're not great at scripts because we don't make scripts. Like we're just like, oh, let's just do this on the fly.
Let's just wing it.
No, that being said, we should all try to work on that a little bit more and get a little better. But you know, I just wanted to say too right now. I'm like feeling my face right now. I'm like, shit, I've been smiling this whole fucking time. I don't know why.
Like your cheeks hurt.
Yeah, my cheeks hurt basically.
It's just from being in my presence.
Yeah, you make me smile.
That's it.
You make me smile, Steven. What can I say?
I just did the one where I would tell them like when I walk in every once in a while I do like with the judge in the courtroom to everybody.
People don't know
So
that.
I always try to pick the time where everyone's like already standing. I go all rise and they all are all standing. I go thank you, please be seated.
Just to be a dick, I'll sit down when you say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like today I did it to Cassie and Jamie, and Cassie stands up as a joke, and Jamie's like,
Stays,
sitting
yeah.
thank you. I'm like, okay.
Depends on the mood.
Sometimes she'll write.
Sometimes I do it.
What else? All right, so that was a good one. A good test.
Very good. Happy New Year.
Hopefully the sound came out
yeah.
good.
Happy holidays.
If you guys are, by the way, I want to throw that in there of we're going to be in 2021, which is tomorrow. Holy
Yes.
fuck. We're going to be opening for some certain positions that we're looking for. I think that's good to let people know is like, I'm looking for some experienced handlers, whether
Go
you're...
straight into your camera there and say this
Okay,
nicely.
what we're looking for here at Pack Leader Dogs is someone. Well, if you go into like the human part of it, is like someone who's open-minded, great attitude, fun to be around, like wants to like have a great career.
Somebody that Jamie can stand.
Is accountable for what they do because I don't let shit slide on that kind of stuff. But we're looking for like basically dog people. So like handlers, obviously someone who has handling skills who would be working more with the boarding dogs and the camp dogs. We're definitely looking for people who have training experience, who can come assist our trainers that we have here and assist me as well. What else are we looking for?
Right now, that's our biggest.
That's our biggest two things right now. So if you're a handler or you're
Actually,
like
some help for Jamie and the
Dealing with
administrative. Dealing with him.
Dealing
on
with
the
you?
administrative things.
I wouldn't give that job to anyone.
You got it for yourself. No, the administrative things, scheduling. We need
Yeah.
some people to help in that department too.
yeah, there's
So
a lot of
whatever
administrative,
interests
and not to
you
mention
have.
media things too. If you're involved in media and you're
I
looking
need
to
help,
learn more
100%.
shit, like we need someone to help Adam with things. Like, well, there's a lot of positions open, so I don't want to deal with bullshit. Just so you know, like I'm saying, like I want to come in and make this money, and I have no experience. Like we're not dealing with that. I want serious people because we're very serious about. You'll see, we laugh and fuck around and do all that stuff, but what not everyone gets to see behind the scenes is when we're like.
You said we laugh, and I went to Jamie's camera. She's like completely fucking serious.
Yeah, that's it. We laugh. We have a good time. Jamie's like,
She's like mad.
she's like giving the finger to this.
Oh, you caught that? No,
Yeah, you see, like we laugh, we break balls, we have fun and all that stuff, but we get shit done because we have. I'm very serious about the service we provide, being proud of the work that we do. We have people who are spending money. We have, and not to mention, not only that, all that stuff, but I really believe we're on a mission to change the world, and I'm not like trying to waste time and keep people around who are just like looking to get paid or. You know, just look to be like, oh yeah, learn a couple things and leave. Like, yeah, I want someone who really wants to be part of something. And that's what I really believe, like the people here who are here now are part of something, and I want them to believe that way, and I believe they do. So anyway, if you're interested, you have your own business now and you're saying this has been too much, like join us, because my thing has been like I went through all the shit to create this thing now. So like we have the insurance correct, the contracts correct, the emails, all that crap is like done, and like that's where I got to this point now where I can just go and work the dogs, go and do the media, and not have to worry about those things that aren't the best things for me. That's what I learned quickly. I was like, I'm either going to decide I'm going to be this like small little thing solo and do it all myself, but I'd rather be like create a whole thing around doing that. So anyway, that's my point with that. It's not only for people. If you're thinking that way of like what he's saying makes sense, I actually would like sell my business to him or something. I don't know. They're like, I've never done anything like that, but we could definitely do something like that too. I'm looking for really, really people. It doesn't matter who it is, meaning like what they look like and what they've done and all that. I'm looking for the open-minded, the aware, the accountable, the person who's willing to be in this growth journey with all of us, how we're doing this, and like willing to look at themselves and just like be part of something big. And I think this is going to be something fucking huge, regardless. So
you think, or you know?
I know. Yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit humble. I mean,
I know.
Like, so that's me trying to be a little humble, everybody. But I do feel like I that's something that's a big change with me too. Is like I was all this ego when I was my weakest, and now I like really don't feel like I have much of an ego. Like you guys are probably disagreeing.
I wasn't gonna say
yeah, I joke about that shit, but like I really try to be like super humble. Like one of the best compliments I ever got recently was the Dueling Bulldogs owner when we dropped the dogs off. She said, you know, like, I didn't think this was going to happen. I don't know how in the world you did it and got these dogs to not fight. And my dog's, like, now so much, like, my older dog is so much happier and all these things. And she just said, you have every right to have an ego and be cocky and be all that stuff. She goes, but it's fascinating to me how humble you are and how, like, relatable you are. And I was like, that's, like, better than getting paid for the thing. She's probably like, good, give me a refund.
I was going to say, so she caught you on a good day.
Yeah. It was, like, once a month that I felt good.
In all honesty, though, it's like people don't recognize confidence as often, and it can look as cockiness or
it's definitely mislabeled. Yeah. Because like my old self, most of the public would have said, "Damn, that guy's like pretty confident guy. Like he's a serious guy."
Yeah, but you weren't.
No, I was very insecure.
Yeah.
Look at this. The perfect example of it is Mike Tyson. He talked about. Go watch an entrance video of Mike Tyson walking to the ring. Go on YouTube right now and look at it. Mike Tyson entering for the heavyweight championship or whatever. He looks like the meanest, most fucking confident motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
But he'll tell you he was scared.
He talks right now that he was terrified going into the ring every single time in pure fear of like, I was like terrified I was going to lose. I didn't know what this guy was going to hurt me or something like that. And it brought him to his childhood of being bullied and all that shit. So he got, because he was so scared, he would go on the offense and he was a Terminator in the ring.
Yeah.
So people, look at how confident, cocky, blah, blah, blah. But you see him now and he's much more relaxed and this and that. He's way more of a confident guy now.
Right.
Than he was back when he was literally the baddest man on the planet at 20 years old. And that's another thing too when he went with Mike Tyson was like, when he talks about, I won the championship of the world. I accomplished my goal and my dream. I was labeled the baddest man on the planet, and I was the most unhappy I ever was in my entire life. Go look at that shit. Those are many, many stories happening like that all over the world. So I think it's amazing. Yep. All that stuff to look at. So
thank you guys for an excellent podcast.
Yeah, this is great. We could keep going forever.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to John, everybody. Happy New Year to you and your pack. And we will see you guys. Holy shit, we'll see you in 2021. It's been a crazy year. And maybe on New Year's, what did we do last time? Tell somebody you love them?
Yes.
Maybe this one you can tell somebody at the New... Are they going to see this today? Or is it tomorrow?
This is going to be coming out tomorrow. What day is it? This is going to be coming out today on New Year's.
Today's
on New Year's,
Thursday.
it's New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Okay, so even New Year's Day, like everyone has off on New Year's Day, I'm assuming? I don't know how the real world works.
Most people do.
But if you maybe on New Year's Day, since you're home and you just went through all the the party and the thing, and you're probably gonna be laying on the couch, is take a moment to write up like 3 things you're grateful for, 3 gratitude things. I don't know
maybe
if
they could be about COVID and be about 2020.
Like what was. Like, yeah, it's easy to, like, listen, you know what's funny is, like, every place I go to, they're like, yeah, it's 2020, I can't wait till it's over. I'm like, I don't know, 2020 has been a pretty fucking awesome year for us. Yeah. And
I think all 3 of us could say that.
Yeah, and I don't mean it like I don't mean it to like discredit people who are suffering or have suffered from the virus or lost their businesses. I don't mean it like that. I'm just speaking for myself. It's been a year of tremendous growth, it felt like, and building up even more resiliency of like, I can remember sitting at that fucking desk. I don't know if they can see it, like, but right at that desk in March behind over there, and sitting and looking out there and being like, what the hell is going to happen this year? Like, and feeling very uncertain and like, are we going to survive this? Is this actually going to be the end of Pack Leader Dogs? Like having that doubt and all that shit. So it's crazy that 9 months later, we're like,
here we are.
like a train, like a freight train just moving forward and a lot of stuff happening and a lot of growth, a lot of internal stuff, all the forgiveness things we've done, like different people in the company now. Nico came into the pit, like so much shit. So much. So yes, it's going to be easy. My point is, it's going to be easy to focus on the things that sucked about 2020, and there's many of them. But why don't we focus on 3 things that we can be like grateful for? And like remember, where focus goes, energy flows. Gratitude, highest vibration. So let's go there. This is how we can start changing the world. People are like, what are you grateful for in 2020? Well, my growth, Nico, the team, the talking to people, the podcast we started. Like, there's so much stuff. The dog park was being created. We moved into the ranch in 2020. Like, the craziest year could be an amazing year. So it's all our perspective on it. Love you guys. Have an amazing 2021. Starting today. Technically tomorrow for us. Yeah. And we'll see you guys in the new year. Stay calm and confident. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Later. Love you guys. That was good with Johnny.
John
Boy.
Really good.
John Boy.
I think too, I feel like so many people are like, oh, I can't wait for 2021. It's going to be such a better year. It's like, you don't know that.